Welcome back to the official Polytopia YouTube channel, where night chains are devastating and can change the outcome of the game. How naval overcommitment can lose you the land battle, and where the greatest enemy is not the enemy, but your own mistakes, like timing out.
Hello, we are here with Ramdingler,
and Yukiso, a pro player on Arctic Wolves.
and today we're going to see a Polybash match between Anva
And Repulsive Souls, that's Taffini, in the east corner.
Yeah, so Anva is the normal Zebazi. And we're going to see that Anva starts with decent density, not the best, not the worst. He has the basic 2 farms for Zebazi, and his villages do have 1 farm each, so it's a decent spawn for him.
Except this one that has 2 fishes. And Repulsive Souls Taffini starts with 3 farms in his capital. His village density is also very good, but we see that Anva has a slight advantage because they have this village here, so they're gonna have a village advantage over Taffini, probably.
Exactly, and also we see that Taffini has a slightly worse spawn because his second city has no parallel resources. Like, all his resources are different, so we're probably going to see a more difficult early game from Taffini, but we're going to see that.
So Anva moves forward, gets a farm, and Taffini
Yeah.
goes forward, gets a farm. That's usual. So yeah, Repulsive Souls Taffini moves onto this village. Unfortunately, that city doesn't have any parallel resources, like Yukiso said, so it's gonna be very hard to upgrade it early on. Their early economy is going to suffer, while
Anva seems to have a pretty decent spawn, as we were saying. They have the farms on the second village, and if they find the other village, it still has 2 fish. So we're going to see, a difference in economy in the early game, and we'll see how this leads to a maybe better hand game for one player or the other.
And both players with the standard 3 opening warrior, which is correct for Anva. I would say it's even more correct for Anva because they have this forest that's gonna block the rider. So 3 warrior opening means this warrior is going to the middle, this warrior is going to the south to see if there's another village here. And for Taffini it's looking a little bit worse because this third warrior could either go here where there is no village, or for the lighthouse. We're gonna see what happens.
Exactly, it's always good to explore with more units.
Anva gets a riding, and he decides, actually it's a he decides to go for the lighthouse and gets riding. Doesn't upgrade this city, which is a little bit a more aggressive approach to Polytopia with Zebazi.
Yeah, considering the Zebazi has access to easy riders, I can see expanding really fast as a bonus.
And Anva can definitely do this because they have parallel resources on their second city, so they don't need to pick up any other tech to upgrade, while Taffini doesn't have. But they're still going for riding, which is, I think it's a correct play. They can upgrade with... They're gonna need rows or fishing to upgrade this city. I think it's worth it.
Yeah, exactly, because they don't have an easy tech to take to upgrade that city, because even fishing you would need a port to actually upgrade the city. But let's go on and see what they do. So we see
village.
2 villages found for Anva.
And gets an explorer that goes for the lighthouse. A little bit
that's
unlucky there.
an unfortunate explorer there, but does reveal the ruin in the west.
They got a bit lucky with that. They train riders. Taffini gets a pop ruin. Wow, that's nice.
Yeah, that's nice.
They revealed Anva.
And they reveal the opponent.
And get fishing.
So here we see already
explorer. Wow, and they reveal them. You really need
Anva likes to play with explorers. They always do that.
You really need that explorer so you can see what they're working with when you're going against rider roads, which with Zebazi on small lakes you should be going for rider roads usually when there's a connection in the middle, especially. So you really need that vision to see how many units your opponent has and what can you do and how can you counter, how many units they have, so you can counter it more easily.
Definitely, definitely. And also we see that Anva managed to upgrade his third village because he has two
he
fish.
decides to not kill this warrior and moves it back, which is a correct play in my opinion, because this warrior now has to go back and they save the warrior here. Because this warrior would have died to this rider.
Exactly, so now they get a kill and the opponent gets nothing. We do see that Taffini does have great resources in his back cities if you get maybe construction or something.
Yeah, they have a nice tier 3 here or tier 3 here windmill spot. He decides to move in with his warrior to get vision of this city, but now this warrior is going to die. That's a free kill for Anva.
Yes,
and Anva is definitely in a dominant position here. He has 4 cities. All of these cities are very easily upgraded.
Yeah, he definitely has an early economy advantage to the opponent. We were talking about that before. And yeah, he's already on the 4th city while Taffini still has to capture his.
But unlucky
and he's also stepping on a ruin. So.
But unlucky for Anva, he's got these mountains here that are blocking their expansion over here, and they can assume this fish here is out of reach of these border road cities. If they get a border road here, this fish is out of that reach. So there has to be a village here or here, somewhere near this fish. And you can see that this is land, so you can expect a village here.
Yeah, that's definitely true, and which means that we are maybe going to see climbing for Anva. That's a bit expensive though, taking climbing for no reason, but it's definitely worth it if there's a village.
Yeah, he gets a free kill on the warrior and heals units.
And we get lighthouse, and he finds the ruin in the his corner.
And also slaps this warrior, gets roads. Yeah, that's what I was talking about. And they see these 2 riders here that are going to be very annoying for Taffini.
Also, I believe we are going to see a giant for Taffini soon, because he only needs 2 farms to get the giant now that he has the road connection.
Yeah, the only.
And unfortunately, even with the road connection, he cannot upgrade the second city, so it's still level 1 on turn 7.
Mm-hmm. They have better resources on the capital, but Anva has more cities. But the issue for Anva here is this forest is blocking them from killing this rider.
Yeah, they need roads.
But
also, Star Ruin.
Yeah,
very nice.
Star Ruin. And they go for climbing. They reveal the village. Yep, it's there. It has decent resources. They move back with the riders. They don't want to risk it. They are in a dominant position. Why would you want to risk anything when you're in a better position?
Exactly. Just wait and develop your economy.
Yep. But Taffini gets an early turn 8 giant. And
yeah, we're going to see some fighting.
Yeah. Places the monument and gets an explorer.
Oh no!
No,
that's very unlucky.
Explorer.
Should have tried that.
Yeah, they should have went for fishing. Then, if you can, because this is small lakes, this is all gonna be land here. But if there is a mountain, which is kind of rare for Zebazi, but there could still be a mountain here. And if you don't have fishing or climbing, this explorer is gonna be useless. But they still took the chance, and it didn't turn out to be a great explorer.
Yeah, definitely. It definitely needed either climbing that or fishing for it to actually go into the opponent. That's unfortunate. But we see that happen to Anva too, so that's kind of balanced.
Anva goes for 2 roads here to upgrade this city, and now they need far more population to get a giant in their capital. They place another road and get a population road. They're going for the giant. They could,
what did they get? Taffini get from the ruin?
So they could do it with hunting and 2 roads here or organization. I mean, they could also do it with 2 ports here and get an explorer here for this lighthouse. That's also one way to do it. Taffini gets a veteran swordman.
A sword in the back, not the best.
I think that's one
not
of the
bad.
worst things you can get. I mean,
Yeah, definitely
every
not something you want to see.
like every other tech is good here on the small lakes. Whatever they get is good, I guess. Maybe organization. Still organization is still better than a swordman in the back, in
Yeah.
my opinion.
Yeah, and now we see fishing, and as we were saying, getting the explorer this tour would have been better. I mean, you lose 1 star from the upgrade, but now you have fishing, so your explorer wouldn't actually go backwards.
Yeah,
Well,
fishing.
anyways, he manages to finally upgrade that city, and since the first explorer didn't go well, now he gets another one,
The second explorer
which actually reveals a lot.
their capital, which is very important. The capital vision is very important.
Exactly, and they see they don't have a giant yet, so they're definitely going to push with their giant.
They go for another explorer with 2 ports, which is kind of expensive, but it's worth it because they're gonna get a giant. Yep, and that's a giant.
Yeah, exactly. Getting the explorer to get the lighthouse and popping a giant in his capital is crucial to the giant have right now, because you need to defend the opponent giant, and you have nothing before that.
Yeah, the best way for Zebazi to deal with giants is to get another giant, get a giant of your own. Also, Anva decides to place a Park of Fortune immediately here to get 5 stars back. Maybe they're planning to get another giant here.
Yeah, it's already at 2 population filled up, so it shouldn't be that hard to get the giant up.
Yeah, they can get it with forestry or with construction, which is
Yeah,
bad for
also
Zebazi.
monument would work, maybe later.
Maybe another Gate of Power or something. So they're not gonna have Grand Bazaar. They're 1 city off.
Exactly, and we see that Taffini keeps rolling the giant in, wants the early pressure right now, doesn't want to wait. That's definitely the right play.
I do love that road, that giant coming in faster, because giants, the biggest issue with giants is they don't have a dash and they're very slow. Everything else is amazing for giants. So if you can place 2 roads and roll it, and then your giants move 2 tiles, it's amazing.
Exactly. And they get climbing to actually. I don't know why they would get it this. Oh, because they are exploring in the south.
I don't think
Makes
that's
sense.
worth it, but I guess they don't have the vision, so they want the vision. I think they should have
Yeah,
just.
they don't have the vision. Maybe there's a village there for them. They don't know that the opponent already took it.
Yeah, I think the better play would have been to place 2 roads, but I guess they want to vision. Maybe they can snag a village here.
Yeah. So they get more units. Everything makes sense. Upgrades now that they have the road connection. And goes for rapport.
Taffini decides to place 2 roads here and upgrade this city, the farm, and just shields back
and the population ruin on Anva's side.
Yeah,
too.
that's amazing. Anva decides to go for sailing and scouts to chip on this giant, which is a great play.
That's a very interesting choice. Definitely works at keeping some of your riders alive. Because either if you don't go for sailing right now, you're going to have to hit the giant with your riders, and that's not something like riders like to do. That's 10 riders to kill 1 single giant. Instead, with the scout, you save some units.
It's definitely worth it. If they can get if he can get the naval domination over both of these pawns, it's gonna be great for them, because they're gonna be able to chip on these, on this city and on this city. So
yeah,
Taffini,
especially the south looks very promising.
Yeah, Taffini's the only cities that Taffini could produce units. Then it's gonna be these 2, and sailing. I love that play. Definitely a good play, even though it's very expensive. But I think it's a good play. They move in with the giant here. They're saying, okay, if you wanna smack it, you can smack it. I'm gonna smack it back and kill it with my scouts and riders.
Exactly. And we see how important it was to rush that giant for Anva, because without it, he would have a really hard time defending the other giant.
Taffini decides to load in his riders to try to kill the giant.
Exactly. Does he get it?
Yeah, he damages a lot. I don't think he kills it. He decides to
Oh, he
the
leaves
city
it
too.
alive. Okay, but it does siege and steal the stars.
Yeah, that was expensive, but I think it's worth it. Anva decides to go
I'm
for
not too
scout,
sure,
more,
to be honest.
2 scouts more to kill some of these units.
Yeah, it's going to be really hard for Taffini to get back into the south border after losing it. Because, well, Hama can just spam out there.
Yeah, and we can just
Taffini
spam
can't do
scouts.
anything about
They
it.
don't even need that many scouts here. It's gonna be
Yeah.
that's a great investment. Like Taffini only has this city that has naval access over this body of water, and if Anma can control this body of water, it's gonna be amazing. And they can maybe control if they can maybe this city. It's gonna be hard for them to control this body of water because they can only shoot from these 2 tiles. Because Taffini can always place some riders back here maybe and spec these scouts if they come near the shoreline.
Yeah, exactly. It's much more difficult to keep control of that water. But in the south instead they have unbiased sample space to move his units around.
Yeah, and also
But anyways, let's see if
also
they
Taffini
actually
has like 2 cities with naval access there, but they didn't go
Yeah, that's true.
for ports. They went for land control. Anva decides to suicide a giant. I think it's worth it. And
Yeah, it
kill
takes a long time to heal anyway at
Yeah.
10 HP.
moves in
Eh,
the warrior here.
I- Yeah, maybe that's a misclick. I don't know why he would land the warrior there.
Yeah. Taffini goes for construction to get another giant
Oh,
with roads.
and that's another capital giant, and he can get more,
It's a
definitely more.
very
with
expensive
construction.
giant though.
Well, that
Oh.
that one in capital is only one
Yeah, I mean-
windmill.
It's they need to buy construction and place a windmill here and 1 road here. It's still expensive
Yeah.
in my opinion.
Yeah, it's very expensive, but
It's definitely worth it. Like
that's
they have
definitely worth the-
they are in a city
yeah.
disadvantage. They have 1 less city than Anva. Anva has a better position. But Anva, let's see what happens with Anva. He times out.
Oh.
He times out.
Oh, that's rough.
Yeah, that's. He was in a dominant position if he could have played this turn, but I guess they were thinking, okay, I'm not gonna play this turn. I'm in a winning position. I don't need to play this turn. I'm gonna focus on some other game. I heard them. They're in my house, so I know. I heard them say that they're playing 2 games at once. So unfortunately for them, they were playing the grand finals of Imperius Coliseum at the same time.
Oh, that's rough for them. Also, I believe they were maybe going for. They were stepping on a starfish, so maybe they wanted navigation there. But we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah, navigation here. I like that
They
plan.
do have
actually.
the stars for it.
Yeah, navigation here is definitely worth it. If you can get this starfish, you're gonna be in profit. And if you can place a bomber here or here, even,
Yeah.
that bomber is
Yeah,
gonna be.
Taffini
I
is
mean,
never
here
going to get into
I would
the
actually place it here because just in case they got archers. But you can place it here before they get archers, and you can just start shooting everything to this line, right? So they won't be able to place any roads. And bombers are absolutely amazing against weak units like riders and warriors, which Taffini only has. They have only 1 giant that can challenge the bomber. And by the time that bomber gets here into the water, that giant gets here into the water and becomes a juggernaut, that giant is going to be damaged a lot. So it's going to be very hard for them to deal with. And then that giant is not going to pressure these cities. So yeah, Anva is definitely in a winning position here, but they time out and Taffini takes advantage of it.
Yeah, we see the cap siege, which is so many stars lost.
Yep.
And
And
also another siege up
Another
there.
siege. Very brutal for Anva. And they get
Yeah.
border growth in that city to get some more naval
And this
access.
means that Taffini is spending the stars for construction, actually. becomes even better because Anva loses all these stars this tour. So, although spending the stars for construction is expensive, if your opponent loses all these stars for one tour, you're basically on equal footing, but with a tier T tech on top of it.
Yeah, they have a good market spot here. By the way, it's gonna be like,
Oh, that's true.
they could make it into a tier 8 market, and they already have roads, so they're very close to markets. They only need one tech. It's trade, and trade is very powerful on small eggs.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
they decide to move off of this city.
Yeah, I don't know about that. Maybe it's a misclick.
Probably, I mean, it has to be a misclick.
Yeah, because they see the raft, they know that
Yeah.
Anva can siege them. They leave the city open.
Anva cannot siege this. That's amazing for Anva. They're still in a good position, but it's not as good as it used to be. Taffini decides to unsiege with veteran swordman instead of a this
Yeah,
rider.
which means he cannot train a unit there, but oh, he's going for a giant there?
No, he just
Wait,
upgraded
what?
instead of building riders. They were probably low on time, so they just decided to do that.
Yeah, they're probably just upgrading and next one they'll finish it.
Anva gets the North Lighthouse. Now there are only 2 pop-up from a giant in their capital. They start
Exactly,
shooting this
and
veteran
we see
swordman.
the power of scouts there.
Yeah,
Already taking down the swordsman.
Taffini gets a giant.
Yeah,
And moves
going
in
to
this
go
giant
there.
here to try to siege this city. They can get
Yeah,
this
it's
city.
a lot of problems.
Yeah, Anva is now in a lot of problems. But because Taffini placed a what is it? Port here instead of here, I would have placed it here. So, like, this scout couldn't. This is a better port placement in my opinion. What do you think?
Yeah, definitely. Because right now he cannot really
Maybe even this.
damage
Maybe
his
even this
scout.
though. So you want your ports to be as close to the shoreline as possible.
Yeah, I think that one is a bit too passive, to be honest.
Yeah, they need to place a road here if they want to get a juggernaut. So yeah, it's a bit too passive. But Anva is now gonna lose the city. Yep.
Yeah, it doesn't feel like he has any way to. Oh, he's taking down the giant with his riders, but does he actually have enough?
No, they just suicided a bunch of riders into the giant. The giant is now on 27 HP. I think they should be able to kill it. They have enough units here. If Taffini doesn't block with his riders, let's see.
And also
Yeah, it's very
I believe
close.
they could also get a siege on Wabo, on the city in the center where the Park of Fortune is, by bouncing a rider there.
Yeah. Yeah,
Okay, maybe they don't
Taffini
go for it.
decides
They
to
just block there.
It's amazing play. And gets another giant in this city.
Yeah, and I don't see how Hamba could unsiege that city now. There's too many units blocking and it doesn't have units.
Yeah, they can't unsiege this, unfortunately for them. But they decide to go for chivalry. The same turn.
Ooh, are going to see the night chase, yeah.
Yeah. Move back, chip on the giant.
Yeah,
Taffini
those
goes-
scouts doing amazing work there.
Yeah, Taffini goes for
And,
siege
oh,
here and free spirit.
Gets sieged
Slaps him.
again.
And slap this raft. Moving with the juggernaut.
And
we
ooh,
got,
night chain.
yeah, we got our first night chain.
So
Ooh.
right now it's definitely a bad position for Hamba, losing a city and also being down 3 giants. But let's see if the night chain actually manages to take the game back.
Yeah. Slap a warrior in, and another rider, and it's a beautiful, nice night chain. Amazing.
Yeah, Taffini definitely didn't see that coming, considering how he
And they
placed those
siege
riders.
here. They siege here with a 4 HP warrior.
Oh, is it going to hold? Yeah,
Yeah.
it doesn't have any units around to kill it.
1, 2, 3. Yeah, this rider can't reach.
Well, how many times do you see a 4 HP siege hold a city?
Very rarely, to be honest. It's a beautiful sight when you get it though. But they move in with his giant, so if they capture this village, they're gonna be able to hold this. They're gonna be able to recapture this village with his giant.
Yeah, and also they have the other juggernaut coming in and threatening the other city. I believe Anva got the killer monument, by the way, and he hasn't used it yet.
Yeah, they
I
didn't.
may be wrong, but I think I saw it pop up.
Yeah, he didn't use it. And Taffini goes for chivalry too. They get a knight. And they don't challenge them for this body of water, which is a good play in my opinion. Like you're losing this body of water for sure. You can challenge
Yeah,
them for
there's
this
no
one,
chance there.
but this one is lost. You need to win the land battle and maybe pressure the capital. Anva goes
Roaming from the base?
ramming. Wow, interesting.
That's very expensive. Very
Yeah.
expensive.
I think the better play would have been probably to train more scouts and chip on this giant. This giant is probably gonna siege here. So they had enough units. Like ramming is usually good when the opponent has a bunch of units in the water, but when they have one juggernaut, I don't think it's worth it. Like you just need you just promote these two into scout and start shooting this giant. It's gonna be fine, even if it's sieges, you're gonna have enough units. I think the better play for Anva was to just get a knight here and another maybe warrior here, and they would have been able to unsiege here.
Yeah, exactly. Also, right now it's going to be difficult for them to train more units on land because they're spending so many stars on water.
That was
And
very
that's
expensive. So ramming was 12 and 2 rammers were 10, so they spent basically all of this income to kill this
Yeah,
juggernaut.
oh, and they get a second rammer, so yeah, no units on land, and now he only has 5 units on land left, plus the 4 HP
And I guess
warrior.
they were alone time, so we forgive
Yeah.
them. They decide to chip on this
Oh
giant.
yeah, so they do have the gate of power.
Yeah, they do have the gate of power, but I guess they didn't want to place it here because maybe they're thinking for construction play.
Yeah, it's just unfortunate because they could get another giant in their center city with the fish and the monument, and they would definitely love to have another giant right now.
Yeah, I would have gotten it here and then went for construction later in the game.
Yeah, definitely.
And they time out again, don't they? At the end.
Oh, and the knight chain from... I didn't even see the knight coming there.
Yeah, they got the knight last turn. They go for this okay knight chain. They could have went for this knight chain, which was, I think, a little bit better. So, it was forced here.
Oh, you
So-
mean knight chain in the north? Kill with the
city.
scouts.
You kill 2 scouts and warrior and siege. It's unsiegeable for Anva because you just place your giant here and block.
Yeah, I see. But yeah, one scout is still trapped after the giant sieges, so maybe they'll get it next turn. And also, it seems like Anva doesn't really have any units left. How many units does he have left on land after that
Yeah,
chain?
they spend all of their stars on ramming last turn.
So they only have 1 rider on land?
2
That's the
riders.
only unit they have left
2 riders.
on land.
Yeah.
That's kind of scary. It's really difficult to play without units for obvious reasons. So we'll see how he deals with that.
And he goes for knight chain and trains another knight here instead of here. What was there?
Yeah, it's more advanced, and he knows that he doesn't see any knights from Hanwei in range of killing it, so he can do it.
I mean, it can still be shot by this scout, so
Well,
guess it's
only
okay.
1 really, and
yeah, I guess it's okay because now this knight can pressure this capital when they capture this city.
exactly.
Anva goes for a siege with a rammer.
Yeah, we see their
And
armor
they time out again.
really
Oh.
hurting his equal. And yeah, oh, he time out there.
Yeah,
And he only has 1 knight. Oh, that's rough.
No, this is Taffini's knight. Oh,
Yeah,
they have a knight here. Yeah,
They train 1.
Yeah.
They didn't manage to train anything else.
Unfortunately, yeah, Timeout
Which also
again.
means that Taffini Knight is still alive, and since he didn't upgrade it last tour, he can now upgrade it to a veteran and it's full HP again.
Yeah. And they kill this rider and block here. Let's see if Anva can unsiege that. They're able to unsiege here. They move in with this knight, kill the scout. So
Yeah,
can
it's
Anva-
looking really difficult for Anva.
It's looking very dire for Anva indeed. Can Anva even unsiege this? Yeah, they can. They have
Maybe they can pop a
19
giant.
stars. So yeah, but they have a gate of power still. So they can pop a giant.
Oh,
there.
that's true. They could also road, but that would be really bad to
No,
do.
I don't think they can do anything unless pop a giant. Yeah, they can roll
I mean,
this.
they can roll the knight and
Knight,
kill the
yeah.
9 HP, but
Then
yeah,
your
they're
knight
getting
is-
siege again next tour.
Yeah, then
If they do
your
that.
knight is on your capital. You don't want a knight on your capital when they have a knight
Yeah,
here, a
definitely
knight
not.
here that can reach it. They pop a giant.
So actually not using the gate of power before to get the giant faster ends up being
Losing them the
useful
game.
in some way.
Yeah. Get some vision here. Siege here again. Wow.
Killing the scout is
This is
really rough for them.
brutal for Anva. They
Yeah.
also
Oh,
play
and
the
they
road.
breach to kill the other scout. So yeah, Hamba has no units left on the
Yeah,
north side.
unfortunate. Let's see what Anva has. Anva has one knight and another 2 HP knight and a warrior
And a
here and
giant.
3 scouts. That's it. And a giant.
Yeah, maybe they can make a push up with a single giant, but it's looking really difficult right now.
But you can still see how their investment in sailing here paid off because they can still unsiege here and harass these units.
Exactly, they still have a control of the south water.
Yeah, even
Lake.
though he timed out like more than 3 times by now.
Yeah, and that's really rough because the problem is you want to make units and you're not making units if you're timing out. And when you're already down on cities, that's even worse.
They go for aggressive push here with a knight.
Yeah, I don't know about that knight. He can just get killed by the Finnish ones.
I don't know. They see it too. This knight can just kill it and then smack
Yeah, it
this
seems
warrior
like-
and siege with those veteran swordmen.
Exactly. It seems like they finished the game in this tour. Let's see what happens though.
Yeah, we have a
Oh, that's a
Yeah.
lot of road.
yeah, that's a brutal knight chain.
Yeah,
and I
killing
think
the
it's worth
Butcher
it.
Knights.
It's definitely worth it. They place 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 roads to go for this beautiful knight chain.
Yeah,
Kill.
and they find no units on the village, or they could have sieged that too.
Yeah, it's just over now. The suicide knight.
Yeah,
with
the other knight
giant.
is killed, as we were saying. And I understand I'm resigning the game here, because, well, Altul, you still, the only thing you have going for you is the water control in the south, but what's that going to help? How is that going to help you in this position?
They could
That's
still
just all.
unsiege this with these units, but they also have a lot of stars. So it's still
I mean,
not
I
over, but it's looking very dire. That last night chain was devastating for Anva.
definitely. Yeah, and also if they actually unsiege that, they leave their scout open to retaliation from Taffini Knight, because they would need to be in range of, like, next to the mountain.
Well,
Um,
let's see.
Yeah, so yeah, it's definitely lost. Even if they can unsiege it, there's no way to win this. You have no units because you timed out a lot of times, and well, you got Night Chain 2 times in a row. Yeah, there's not much they can do.
And that is how you exploit your opponent's mistakes. I think if Anva played this correctly, he would have won this easily. But unfortunately, they were playing 2 games at once, and their brilliance, they're a very good player, their brilliance didn't show in this game as much as it should have been shown. But they still played an amazing game when they were not timing out, and they were holding strong, but Taffini was able to turn the tide and win the game. Thank you for watching, share your thoughts in the comments, join the next Polyseum, the link is in the description, like and subscribe, join our Discord and other social media, the links are also in the description. If you'd like to see more of the Polybash and Polyseum content, click the IMO video on the screen. Take care and see you in the next one.